We are broadcasting live. Hello, everyone. I hate myself. Welcome to our Demigod Party. So we are here. This is Hunter. I am Julia, and today we'll be discussing things to do with the Riordanverse, or however you say his last name. Anyone's gonna correct me. Hunter, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi guys, I'm Hunter. I have a channel. It's the Book Hunter. Very clever, I know, but
I'm trying to point you. I'm sorry. Continue.
I'm like Julia. Of course, Rick Riordan has been a huge part of my life as well, and I'm sure we'll get deeper into that throughout this live show. And I just finished rereading all the Percy Jackson books, and I'm doing a reread of Heroes of Olympus right now. So I'm interested in talking about this and having a fun hour with you guys.
Yeah, totally. So before we get into this, we just want to put up disclaimers because since Rick is a huge writer and has so many books out, we just want to put disclaimers out there. Please don't post spoilers regarding Magnus Chase and Trials of Apollo and the King Chronicles, because some people, personally, I have not finished King Chronicles. Hunter hasn't started Magnus Chase or Trials of Apollo, and also
Magnus Chase.
You have read Magnus Chase?
The first one. Just
the first one. Same thing with King Chronicles for me. So we also just don't want to put spoiler things out there. Unless if you want to ask about Heroes Olympus and Percy Jackson, just say that it's a spoiler. It's just so people, because sometimes people, I've been realizing it more and more that some people are like now getting into Percy Jackson and people haven't read Heroes Olympus or Tyrant's Tomb yet. I mean, Burning Maze. So I'm like, oh, okay. So, do you want to start on questions here? I did also post a video on TikTok with questions if you wanted to answer them.
Oh, interesting.
So I have there. Here's one. Let's start this off as an introduction one. So Anastasia asked, if you were a child of God, which one would it be? Mine would be Apollo.
Okay, so am I going to start?
You can start.
Okay, so interesting you say this because when I was little, let's say, okay, so I was looking through photo albums the other day, and when I was 8, my family traveled to the Parthenon in Nashville, which, you know, the Lightning Thief movie, great scene. And the entire time I was there, I was freaking obsessed. Like, I was kind of like role-playing as if I was a child of Athena the entire time.
we stand a role player.
And of course, me, because I've been a reader since first grade. Like, I've always been a reader, so I guess I've always connected with, like, with Harry Potter. I'm like, oh, I'm a Ravenclaw, and with Percy Jackson, I'm like, I'm a child of Athena. But if it's Athena, it's pretty like the basic answer for me. But if I thought deeper into it, I think it would be cool to be a child of Hermes. I guess like Hermes would be like a second one.
Yeah, Hermes is kind of like, yeah, he might do some weird things, but I think his children are also cool because they can like steal stuff and stuff like that, and like, good choice.
I'm in real life, Jason.
I know, I was gonna put that up on the screen next, but you have more of a personality, though.
Right?
I just filmed a video today of taking a godly parent quiz. So I'm not gonna say what I specifically got, but as a kid, I was Athena, and then I transitioned more into Poseidon because I realized I was like, I'm more like into water and ocean and stuff like that than knowledge, and I'm not that smart to begin with. But yeah, I perceive myself. So you're on with a Poseidon and Hermes kid. So trouble will happen.
I will say I like the beach, but I don't like the ocean. So
I see a lot of people talk about that. It's scary, man. Like
I get really tired swimming.
Yeah, getting caught in a riptide has scarred me as a kid. But you know, I'm not dead, so you know it's good. I just want to put up that message that Hunter's Jason. I just find that so funny.
Although I will say, rereading The Lost Hero because I haven't reread these since the first time I read these.
Same.
So rereading this, I don't hate them as much as I used to. I will say that.
Same. I posted a tweet and I was like, guys, Jason's actually not that bad, and everyone's like, are you being imprisoned? And I'm like,
yeah, I saw
no. That. I was like, no, guys, it's fine. He's not that bad. And I've heard people say like, oh, it's because he lost his memory. And I'm like, okay, it makes sense. But you know, Percy still has his humor, even though he his
Mhm.
memory was taken, but also doesn't want to put himself out there, and I kind of get that. But he's still like, if you had to choose one of the 7 that
Yeah,
is your
like, he's still
favorite,
not
you go
the
to
top.
Jason.
And,
What
like,
did
I feel like most of the criticism I had of him when I was younger is that he's not Percy. Like, I compared him too much to Percy.
See, that's what I feel like would be so cool to hear from people who read Heroes Olympus first, because I
Mhm.
think one of the things with Heroes Olympus is that everyone goes into Heroes of Olympus thinking Percy's going to be there, and they get really disappointed that he's not there for the first book. Like, I was watching a book review of Lost Hero with a certain popular booktuber, and I just hated every time she would complain about, oh, Percy's not here, we're stuck with Jason. Like,
Yeah.
he just, the whole thing with Rick also is that he doesn't like to focus so much on like older series and nostalgia. He doesn't try to. It'll be like a small line or something like that, and I
Yeah.
don't think he wanted to do that with a lot of the characters.
Yeah, I like how he does that, how he has new series in the same universe and he keeps on pushing along the story, but there's still references to the old story. And I feel like people who like have been there since the beginning are having hard times disconnecting from the previous series. So I feel like that's probably was me when I was younger as well, and that's why I
Yeah.
really like Jason.
And did you like go right into Heroes Olympus after reading Percy Jackson? Because I
Yeah,
did the same exact thing. Like right when I finished
because
Last Olympian.
a lot of them were out because when we were younger, they were already starting to get put out.
Yeah, I remember personally the first time that I fully waited for a Rick Riordan book was probably House of Hades slash
Me
Blood of
too.
Olympus.
Mine was House of Hades, and I went to the House of Hades event with Rick Riordan. My
Living
house,
the dream.
right? I think I was in 5th or 6th grade. I don't remember, but my House of Hades copies is signed by him because I went to the book event.
That's me with Tyrants too, man. Like, it's so epic, man. Was
I
yours
just
like
love how he's still doing stuff.
what?
I just love how he's continuing on.
Yeah, and also, did he like? It wasn't like a. Did he have a stage and he just talked? Right.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
okay.
It was. He still is using PowerPoint presentations.
I know, it's so funny. And then like the whole thing is just basically like promoting all of his like stuff. Like that's the whole thing, but he just makes it so much fun to to watch him. He's just comedian. Um, so we have another comment from Grace. What's your favorite Percy Jackson book? Mine would be Battle of the Labyrinth.
Okay, is
You
that hers or yours as well?
No, I just said she said mine would be
Okay.
Battle of the Labyrinth, not me. Battle of the Labyrinth's not mine.
Okay, so I will say the last 3 books in the series like kind of blend together really well for me that it's hard for me to pick which one is my favorite. But I will say as a kid, and I reread them recently like a week ago. So I will say I still think my favorite is the Titan's Curse, even though I feel like it's not as epic to say as the Battle of the Labyrinth or the Last Olympian. I just think it's like a great climax point of the series and a great development of the series. And I really like Percy sulking over Annabeth being lost the entire
It's
book.
so funny. And he's like, no, I don't like her. And I'm like,
I don't
yes,
like
you
her.
do.
Yet he complains the entire time that she's gone, and I love it.
Like, I think I agree. I think book 3 and series are the ones that kind of start
Mhm.
the end. Like, Harry Potter did the same thing, Percy Jackson, like long series like that. Same thing with Mark with Athena too. Like that's
Yeah.
when everything comes together. Um, I'm a sucker for finales of series, so I love Lost Olympian so much.
I will say I did cry the most reading Last Olympian.
Yes.
And it's funny because as a kid, I don't remember crying this much throughout these books, but I reread them and I sobbed through the last 3 books. Like each one of them, I cried at the end of each of them.
Same. But the sad thing was that I was reading Last Olympian in a public place,
Oh
so I
no.
couldn't cry. So I'm getting to like where everyone's dying, and I'm just like, I'm not crying, and everyone's like, "Are you okay, Julie?" And I'm like, "No." So
I think the thing the Last Olympian does that I like a lot is like making you care about all the minor campers that you haven't like really cared about for the entire series. Like with Selena and Charles, like I got sad with each of them, even that Ethan kid. I cried.
yeah, I think Rick is so good with doing all the characters. Like,
Mhm.
and also like going into like Luke, like you see in this book, like you see his whole thing. It's like he's not a villain, he's an anti-hero, and you can see some of the reasons why he did it. He's not a fully evil character.
Yeah.
So like that's really cool. And then the whole thing with Selena, like I haven't seen like anyone really hate Selena except Drew. So like I'm like I don't. And then Charles, I love Charles so much. Like he's the man. And then I'm sorry, but Will Solis was introduced in Last Olympian, and I totally forgot about it. So when he came up, I was like, oh, I was like, hey Will, you're soon gonna.
Oh yeah, I didn't notice that at first. I was rereading. I'm like, wait, Will is in this book? I forgot about that.
I know, and he's like so young too. So I'm like, and then okay, but yeah, Last Olympian. Top.
My only criticism of The Last Olympian, though, and this was my main thought while reading it, my main criticism is that I feel like there's not enough of Grover in the last book.
Yes. Well, here's the thing. I feel like Grover's arc was done in Battle of the Labyrinth, maybe.
True, because the whole Pan thing happened.
Yeah, but I also agree. But then again, Rick doesn't do a lot with Grover that I like. Like a lot of people talk about it in one of the criticisms of Heroes of Olympus is that there isn't a lot of Grover, but that's the whole thing of him trying to steer away from the original trilogy, the original series. But when you have like two of the main characters from the original series as the seven, you're still doing the original series. And he is in Tyrant's Tomb. He does play a pivotal role in not in Tyrant's Tomb, Trials of Apollo, and he does a good job. But yeah, I agree. I
feel like he just like in the series as a whole, nothing matches the level of Grover we get as the first book. Because in the first book, he was, I guess, because he was like introducing Percy to this world, and Percy is already involved in this world, so Grover kind of takes the step back, and he's still there, but he's not as involved. And I guess that's also one thing about Grover is that every time I read the books, I guess this is because I watched the movie before I read the books as a child, is that I just keep on thinking of him as the movie adaptation of Grover. Like in my head, I don't know the actor's name who plays Grover.
Brandon T. Jackson or something like that.
Like that's my Grover in my head, and I can't get that out of my head.
Here's the thing. I think that actor, for what he was given, he has very good comedic timing. The problem I have with him in the movie is that it's not Grover's personality. And the whole point of Grover's personality is he's developing and becoming a better satyr, or just like he's growing. So like for him to be comedic relief and have so much confidence goes against his character.
Yeah, his whole purpose as a character wasn't really there. Like the whole environmental side of it, finding Pan. Was Pan even mentioned in the second movie?
No, not at all. They don't even give him in the park.
Oh my god, that's such a huge important part of the series, and Pan wasn't even mentioned.
Yeah. So like I think like people talk about how movie Grover is one of the good parts of it, but sometimes I'm like he is good comedic relief, but that's not his character.
Yeah, his purpose as a character doesn't seem there. So yeah, I feel that.
Okay, so let's do this one. Okay, so Brianna asked, "How is your favorite character in the series?" I think it's asking who is your favorite character of the series. You can go first while I look and stuff. You can. Do you have a?
Okay.
Sorry.
Let's see. Is this in the first series?
I guess you can do. But if you wanted to, you can do first series and second series characters.
Okay, I'll do that. Okay, so while reading the entire Percy Jackson series last week, I just have a huge love for Sally Jackson coming out. And here's my thing, because in literature, parents never get the good representation, especially in young adult and middle grade literature. Like, parents are never positive. And for Sally Jackson to be such a great mom, like, it means so much to me, and she's an amazing, like, I've thought for, like, minutes and minutes and minutes about like doing an analysis video on Sally Jackson because I love her character so much.
I dare you to do it.
And not only her, but Paul as well, because great step-parent representation, that's like absent in literature, and Rick Riordan does it amazingly.
I love Paul so much. And I think the reason why I also loved Last Olympian more this time around was that there's this one scene where him and Sally are fighting off monsters.
I love that scene so much.
And then Percy finally calls him like dad or something, or like says something that makes it seem like he accepts him as a parent. And I'm like, it's what he deserves. But you know what I hate? I hate how he has no official art. Like, I hate that.
We need more Paul Locust appreciation.
We need it. We really need it.
And then there's the whole part where Sally uses the shotgun to start killing the monsters. That scene, and I'm like, yes. And I think it's in Battle of the Labyrinth when he asks Percy if he can ask his mom to engage.
That's it.
And
yes.
I was like, oh. I was like, just the fact that he's asking Percy, who, first of all, he thought just destroyed his school, and he still trusts Percy.
And then,
a great character.
Now I want to talk about. What if there's a spin-off series of just Paul?
I would read that.
I will literally just read a Paul book. Just him doing his day-to-day life, like going grocery shopping and like coming home to like Sally. And then for Here's Olympus, who's your favorite?
Well, this is a fan favorite, of course, Leo. I mean, you have to love Leo.
There's some people that don't like Leo, and I'm like,
really? What are their criticisms? Like, how can you not like Leo?
Like, I think, like, here's the thing. A lot of people like Leo because of his humor, but like, you also like him because he has a good backstory. Like,
his story is the best out of the 7.
Like, it's so well done. Like, it's so good because I was reading his backstory. I was listening to it, and I was just crying. And my mom pops her head in, and she's like, "You're laughing, you're crying over some book," and I'm like, "Shut up! This is really sad." And like Gaia, like, what an asshole, man. But I think we both agree Leo's the best character of Heroes.
Yes,
so I'm trying to find more cool because there's so many comments. Geez. Let's see. Let's just go with this. Janica asked, what is your favorite Percy Jackson or Heroes Olympus ship? I think we all know the main one. Hopefully you're thinking the same one I'm thinking of.
I mean, of course, classic Percy.
Yeah.
That's like the basic answer. But I mean, of course, and for me, the Titan's Curse is what develops that relationship the most for me. Just the whole slow burn of him realizing he's starting to like Annabeth. That means, oh my gosh. And then I was like smiling the entire last chapter. I think it's the last chapter of The Last Olympian. You know, the whole underwater scene.
It's chapter 2, who? It's Perciveth, man. That's like nothing can top that. Like just nothing. I'm trying to think of another one. I mean, I haven't reread Heroes Olympus in a while. Like, I think we both said that we both haven't read it since it came out. So like, I think Will and Nico are nice, but like, I'm rereading Sun and Neptune right now, and Frank and Hazel are so adorable. They're like the cutest. And originally when I read the series, I really liked Leo and Hazel together for some weird reason. But like hearing Frank's thoughts, and he's like, he wants to be Hazel's shining armor and like knight,
so
and he really likes her. And they both don't want to tell their own stories because they feel like they'll like separate each other. And I'm like, guys, they're perfect for each other, and they're so good. So that's also my favorite.
Frank himself is such an adorable, lovable character, I feel.
You said Frank, right? I can't.
Yeah, Frank. Yes, Frank.
Oh my god, I love Frank. What a man! I love Frank.
Which is great to have like a child of Mars. I was like, what's the Roman version of having a child of that character being so like lovable and not like frightening or annoying like Clarice was in Percy Jackson.
Yeah, I feel like I was gonna say the same exact thing because all the Aries kids are these like broad girls that want to kill everyone. But then
Mhm.
you have Frank, who's like, sorry, I love Frank. Frank
A lot
is
of people in the comments, I feel like, I think, upset we're not saying Solangelo, which, like, yeah, I agree, but for me, have only read Heroes of Olympus. I haven't really experienced much of Will and Nico yet, so I feel like I do need to read Trials of Apollo to get more of that, and because I do think there is more of
there
Sol.
is.
Yeah.
And then supposedly, according to Rick, they're gonna have a more prominent role in the last book
Ooh.
of
Okay.
the Trials of Apollo, which I'm actually really excited for. Even though I haven't finished Tyrant's Tomb yet, but I've also heard that he might do a spin-off series of those two, which I
I
think would be
saw
kind
that.
of cool. Because you have a child of Apollo and a child of Hades together. Like
That's
it's
amazing.
contrast. It's
And I,
so good.
and I do think it sucks. The only point of view of Nico we've gotten is Blood of Olympus.
And it's Blood of Olympus
Like,
too.
I think a first person point of view Nico series would be great.
Oh my gosh. He it would be so good because I've gained such an appreciation for Nico in this reread that now I'm just, and especially in Son of Neptune, when Percy's like, "You look familiar to me," and he's like, "I've never seen you in my life." So I was like, "Oh, Nico." It's so sad because Nico at some points in Son of Neptune will try to say Bianca's name to Hazel, and Hazel knows that she won't be as good
Oh,
as Bianca, and I'm like, stop it, no. And I think Nico is trying to not say that, but Hazel's a better character than Bianca, so like,
I feel like Nico's arc in the series as a whole is probably one of the saddest.
oh yeah, definitely. I think him, yeah, definitely.
Especially Battle of the Labyrinth, Nico
Oh man.
really hurt me when with Bianca. Those scenes with Bianca really like pulled my heartstrings.
And you know what? Okay, I know that we were talking about sadness, but you know what? I love how Percy keeps on thinking that Nico's gonna kill him. Like a 13 or 12-year-old kid is just gonna take
I
and
think,
murder
I
Percy.
think, I think he's 11 in Battle of the Labyrinth because he's younger than Percy,
You
and he's like,
right.
and I'm like, you really think he's gonna try to kill you? But no, he's trying to kill Dedulus.
Okay, so when I reread Battle of the Labyrinth, the plot totally forgot.
I forgot that too. I forgot Quintus was Dedulus, and I was shocked. I was like, this is my third time rereading this, and I forgot about this, and I was shocked. I was actually shocked.
Oh my god, the same exact thing happened to me. I was like, and I texted in my group chat. I was like, guys, I actually totally forgot that Daedalus. Oh my gosh, so
I
bad.
was like,
Okay,
Quintus is because I remember him being like sketch, but I don't remember why he was sketch. You know?
yeah, I just thought he was like, like I don't know, but he just I don't know. Okay, there's a question here that I feel like we both need to answer because it's a meme. Do you all like blue food?
Okay, actually, I don't know if I. Yeah, I like blueberries, and what does this have to do with Percy Jackson?
Percy Jackson. I remember watching that live and being like,
I hadn't watched that except for watching your video, and I was like face palming the entire time because I'm like, these people do not know the source material whatsoever.
and then the one guy tries to be like, yeah, I read the book, and I'm like, no, you didn't.
He didn't. He
Or
said,
he's
"Yes, it stays very true to the book." I'm like, "No, it doesn't."
oh my gosh.
I wonder if they watched the movie, the actors, or if they knew it was like crap.
I think Logan Lerman knew. I think Logan Lerman knew. He's smart. He does not want to be there. I think he was the reason why they didn't make a third one, is that he was like so done. He was like thankful that he kept growing old. Like,
I'm so glad they stopped when they were, because if they ruined the Titans curse for me,
oh my gosh, I feel so sad for.
or Nico, I'm so glad they didn't ruin Nico.
Yo, they would make Nico straight. Like they would
They
put,
would
they would make Nico straight, and I'd be like, no.
edgy evilly.
Oh,
It kind of is, but
let me see more.
I actually haven't made blue food myself.
I've made blue pancakes, and that's it.
By accident.
They weren't terrible, but they weren't great. So, let me just find.
Oh,
There was another. If you see a question,
no,
I don't
someone
know.
could imagine how bad they would have messed up the hunters. I really love the hunters, so I'm so glad they didn't do that.
Oh my god! Like, oh god.
They probably would have put in some like forbidden love aspect in it, like try to make one of the hunters
They would take the whole
like purpose of the
no,
hunters.
no. They would say they don't know anything about mythology, so I think they would say like, "Yeah, we're children of Artemis," and I'm like, "No,
Oh
you're
no!
not." there's there's a TikTok trend going around where there'd be like children, like child of blank, like being like released or something like that, and all the Percy Jackson fans were like, "This doesn't work." So someone would do Child of Artemis, and we're like, "Nope, that
Nope.
doesn't work." Um, if there's a question that you like, and you're like, um, oh, here we go. The man in the yellow hat. Okay, tell Curious George I said hi. Jason versus Percy, no boundaries to the death. Who would win? Jason would get knocked out in the first hit or something.
Yeah.
I
Didn't they
feel
have a fight scene in Mark of Athena? Isn't that like
yeah.
I
I
remember,
forget.
I don't remember what happened.
I don't
Isn't that the cover of Mark of Athena?
yeah.
Is them
That's what
fighting?
makes Mark of Athena like the best cover. Well, besides
Yeah.
ladies. I think Mark of Athena has the best cover. But yeah, I think we both agree.
I feel like even though Jason is technically the child of the most powerful god, he's kind of like a dummy. So I think Percy would still win.
That's so it's so funny that we called Jason the dummy. Like people consider Percy really stupid when he's not. But like Jason oh gosh. Okay, sorry.
I feel like Zeus in general I don't like. And like I'm like, why is he the most powerful god?
I
What? It's because
okay.
Kronos didn't eat him.
Here's the thing. I've heard that people say that the reason why there's a lot of children of Zeus is that Zeus is so done with marriage that he just like keeps on like going under and just but I agree. I don't understand why Zeus is such a prominent. I don't know. Whatever you said, I agree with.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I kind of feel bad for Hera because she's literally the goddess of marriage, and her husband is the most unfaithful god of them all.
Exactly. That's a really prominent thing in Lost Hero when you get to the end of
Yes,
it.
yeah.
When you reread it, it's yeah.
I feel like I did think the Lost Hero did a good job of kind of redeeming Hera's character.
Exactly.
Is it Hera or Hera?
Oh my god. Okay.
I
I
was
have
listening to the
no
audiobook,
clue.
and the
I
audiobook pronounces it Hera, and I'm like, I've never heard that. I've never heard anyone say Hera.
get ready for when they say Gaia. Because they say Gia.
Gaia?
They say,
No, cancel that.
they say Gia. And I'm like,
Gia, it doesn't even look like that.
I don't know how Rick like let that go. I was like, I personally hear it Hera. I don't know. Then again, I pronounce everything wrong.
Yeah, it's Greek. Everyone pronounces everything wrong.
But that's good. That's true. But oh my gosh, people hate on Hera so much, and I'm like, and they're like, they took Percy and Jason away, and I'm like, you guys have to realize that the reason why she did it is so that the two camps can come together to feed on Gaia. So like, there had to be a sacrifice, and like, it's not like Percy did it, but like, Percy forgot about Annabeth. He didn't. So everything works out in the end.
Yeah. I will say I'm glad I'm rereading these books because as a child, I was so confused by the aspect that each god had a Roman and Greek persona. And I'm like, how does that work? And I don't remember how they explain it working. So I'm excited to reread that and figure that out because it still confuses me to this day.
Yeah, they explain it. They do explain it in Lost Hero, and then they also explain it in Sun Neptune because I think I just read a chapter where Frank explains it to Percy. I still don't know actually. Like, I just know that they sometimes just get, I don't know. But it's also
especially the whole Jason and Thalia thing. Like,
that's what I was about to say.
Like one being the child of Zeus and one being the child of Jupiter. Like that confused me a lot.
Yeah, they explain it more in Lost Hero. That Zeus came back when Thalia was a child, and he was a different. Thalia kept saying that he was a different person, and that he was more dignified and stuff like that. And that's the Jupiter side. But yeah, If you could change the storyline or characters of any of the series, which one would you change?
Like a personal, like personally as the character, like I wish they hadn't gone through this, but also, I mean, of course, their storyline was important for the series. Like, of course, I just feel so bad for Luke as a character.
I
Like,
know his mom.
oh my, like his whole mom and like Hermes trying to be a good dad, but you know, and that's another thing I like about Percy Jackson is like the duality of the gods, like them being so great, but like also you realize how bad they can actually be. It's so good, and like with
It's
Riordan made me woke as a child reading these books.
we were woke before anyone else was woke. It's so yeah, I totally agree.
And
It
another thing, I guess Bianca as well, because I don't feel like we had enough time to like really sympathize for her. We only really sympathized with Nico feeling for her, but we didn't really like I didn't really care that much that she died. Like, yeah, it was sad, but we didn't really know her. So maybe getting a little bit more of her.
that would be I think that would be good. I totally agree with that. Actually, I'm gonna take that as my answer too. Because I think we might have talked about this or something, I think, but just she doesn't do people are gonna hate me because people, hate all opinions, but it just she doesn't do anything. And also people hate her because she left Nico, which personally I don't think is a very big criticism because you have to think about she's been stuck with taking care of her 11-year-old brother for like years.
For decades, literally.
For
In the
decades.
road.
Lotus Casino. I mean, that's a good place to raise you don't have to worry about raising them, but yeah. But
And I feel like if we had more insight as to why she made the decisions she did, then maybe I would be able to care about her more. But you know.
yeah, I think that's one of the side characters that Rick just decided not to really give a backstory to.
Mhm.
Here's a question, because we were talking about the movies before we came on. In your opinion, what is the worst change they made in the movies?
Uh, so off the top of my head, of course, like losing the purpose of Grover's character arc, that was really a change I did not like. But also, let's see. I'm thinking.
Um, I have an answer. Do you want me to say it while
Yeah.
you're thinking? A lot of people, I talk about this a lot, but like as much as people do feel like Logan Lerman was a good, like he was a good Percy, I personally think otherwise. I just feel like everything that was Percy's arc and character was taken out. Like he's a great actor. Perks being Wallflower, he deserved an Oscar nod for that. But it just like he has no selflessness. He has no kind of like he even said this in the interview of Sea Monsters. He's like, Percy always wins. And I'm like, that's the whole not point of his character is that he doesn't always win. Like,
Yeah.
it's just the whole thing with Percy Jackson is that these characters are so real and raw compared to other kids' books. Like seeing Harry Potter, he's this perfect chosen one. And then you see Percy, who like literally his father tells him that he's a mistake for being born. Like, that's the thing a lot of kids relate to. By taking that out just really hurt me as like even looking back as an adult is just like his whole arc and just his whole character and his whole personality is just taken out. So I really hate that. And I think the whole point with the gods thing that you were saying, that's important too. And they don't talk about it either. So
I think because I after rereading this, I reread the emails Rick sent to I guess the director or the executives of the movies. And the biggest criticism that I saw him say and that I agree with the most is taking out some of the most cinematic scenes from the two books. Like the whole fight scene with Ares, that would have been perfect. That was like one of the best like cinematic scenes in the books, and they took that out. And like just having the idea of Percy literally trying to pick a fight with a god, like that's goes with the personality thing. Like that's the personality of Percy.
exactly. I was on a I was video chatting with friends and we were talking about Percy Jackson and they're like, "Yeah, there's that one scene at the end where he's fighting that Luke guy." And I'm like, "That didn't happen in the book. He like fights a god." And they're like, "Oh yeah, we know. It was so much better in the book." And I was like, "See, like
Right. I feel like they butchered Luke's character as well.
okay, people are like, "Oh, the actor was fine." I'm like, "Yeah, but his character was
Mhm.
awful because he's more of a villain rather than an anti-hero.
Yeah. And they didn't really explain Annabeth's backstory with him as well. Like Annabeth doesn't really care about him at all in the movies. I feel like as much as because it like broke her heart in the books, seeing him turn into this evil person, getting susceptible to Kronos's persuasion, and it broke her in the book. And you didn't feel that emotional attachment in the movies at all.
Yeah, and they try to put that arc into the second movie, but it just doesn't work because it wasn't introduced in the first one. So like you don't really care because it was never fully addressed in the first one. It just feels thrown in there. So
yeah, the entire Thalia backstory feels thrown into that one as well. Although when I was little, I remember having the Percy Jackson DVD, and one of the deleted scenes is Percy and Grover driving to Nashville talking about Thalia, and they cut that scene out. Like that's a scene they filmed.
I totally forgot about that. I think I watched that too. And they're talking. Oh my gosh. I need to rewatch that now. I'm watching that deleted scene.
I was like, why did they delete that scene? That scene is so important.
It's so important.
They didn't think of setting up a franchise, which I think is one of the biggest mistakes of the series.
That's the biggest thing. But going back to the Grover thing, that's also part of Grover's character, is that he feels like it's his fault.
The entire first book, like, I don't want to mess this up, and you don't get that with the movie.
You don't. He just wants to get his horns. That's not. But like going back to what were you saying? You just said something before the Grover thing. Crap. Oh my god. Oh, the franchise. I don't get why some movies they change the books or the adaptation to make it seem like to end the movie after the first movie when you should be setting up for more. They want to make money. The whole film industry is about making money.
Right. I feel like that's the same mistake with the Mortal Instruments movie as well. Like the same mistakes of Percy Jackson, which obviously Mortal Instruments as a book series isn't as good as Percy Jackson. Like thinking back on Mortal Instruments, I'm like, wow, that was not as good as I remember, but they made the same mistakes with
Hello. Oh, okay, good. You're back, I think. Yeah, okay, good. Sorry. You a little bit. So, sorry. I might have interrupted you.
And I missed the Cersei scene in
wait, that was
that the CC?
Oh, that's the guinea pig scene. Okay.
Yeah, the guinea pig scene. That was a good scene as well. And Blackbeard running out, chasing them as they're escaping.
And then I think it's also good for Percy's character because he sees like a perfect image of himself and he knows that he can't do it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's the whole point. And
all the depth and development of the characters were not there.
You know what I think? I have a theory that they put it in there and then Logan Lerman was like, nah, I'm not doing it.
I'm not turning into a guinea pig.
I'm not turning into a guinea pig for this movie series. There was a question. If you see a question that you like, I can find it. Because there's so many. Why is there so many? Let's go down to the bottom. That's easier. Okay. This is people stop. Okay, this one's being asked a lot. NoteTube asked, who would you kill, Thalia, Clarice, Zoe, or Blanca? I think it's Bianca.
Blanca.
Well, two of them are already dead, so.
Well, out of these that I would keep dead, I would say. Actually, I wouldn't say Bianca. I was going to say that initially, but I think Zoe's arc was very good for being in the Titan's Curse. Her whole redemption arc, like kind of sacrificing herself to have the opportunity for them to overtake Atlas was a very good arc. So I think as a story-wise, I would keep Zoe's character dead, but I do like Zoe's character, and like I would have loved to see more of her maybe in the earlier books, but I feel like she died at a right time.
Yeah, because she's not. She's somehow related to Atlas, right? I don't remember, but
Atlas's daughter, yes.
Yeah, so I feel like doing that to change it all would be good. But I agree, actually. Like, I think I wouldn't kill Bianca so that she can have more of an arc. Um, let me see.
Am I the only one that doesn't really like Thalia that much? Like,
Okay, here's my thing. I liked her more in this reread, but like coming into it more now, I don't love her, but I don't hate her.
that's how I feel. She's kind of just an character.
I feel like she gets better in Lost Hero. Personally, I think she's really good in Lost Hero because she finds out that she had a brother she didn't know.
Mhm.
But I agree. She's not my favorite, but she's okay. But you know what? She's a better Zeus child, so.
Is the H silent? Someone said the H is silent in all caps.
I'm sorry.
I've been saying Thalia.
Talia.
Oh no, I hate that.
I don't know how the dude says it on the audiobook. I really don't, because he's been saying Gia. So like you think wait, ooh. I don't really like her in Dark Prophecy. Is she in Dark Prophecy? I don't know. This question's been asked by a lot of people. Rank the 7 from best to worst.
Okay.
Wow. Wait. Okay. I think I'm wait, so how about we do number 1 and then we just, or you still need
Okay.
Percy?
Okay, so I don't know. I'm thinking because I like Leo the most, and like if you're talking about the 7 as the 7 in Heroes of Olympus,
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
like because of course we have Percy and Annabeth before, but I feel like they did kind of like take a step back in Heroes of Olympus. But as Heroes of Olympus, I would say Leo is my favorite of the 7, and then Percy and Annabeth.
Yeah.
But overall in the series, of course, like with Percy Jackson, like Leo and Percy are fighting for that top spot.
Okay. I kind of agree with that. Like, I mean, I love Percy. He's my favorite fictional character of all time. So, I mean, I kind of have to put him at 1. And then Leo's next, and then Annabeth.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing I feel like is Frank and Hazel. I kind of like. I can't between which one's better, like, because they're both really good. I mean, I think we all know that Jason's at the bottom.
Yeah.
I think we said this earlier that like if you had to choose someone, Jason would be at the bottom, and then Piper is above him. Like she's not as bad. I liked her a little more this reread, but she still kind of annoys me in a way.
She's kind of forgettable too. Like, and I hate to say that.
I like her arc, but like,
and I do like the whole like she's a daughter of Aphrodite, yet she doesn't really care about her appearance that much. Like, I really like that.
But the thing is, then she hates on the Aphrodite kids, and I don't like that. I feel it's kind of like snobby, but then she comes around. But like while wants the hero, she was like, "Yeah, I'm not into that stuff, like the Aphrodite kids." And I'm like, "Honey, they probably are thinking the same thing as you are, that they don't the Aphrodite either." So, but I mean, she does come around and end of Lost Hero, but she does have a good arc that I like.
She does. I like her arc in the Lost Hero so far.
So I feel like I think we so it's just I think we both agree on the top and the bottom. It's just where to put Frank and Hazel because I love both of them so much.
They are very close to each other.
The thing is, going into my reread of Sun and Neptune, I haven't really got into more of their story arc. So far I'm putting Frank. No,
I would say that. I think I would put Frank above Hazel right now as well because I don't really remember much about Hazel's character arc as much as about Frank.
Character arc is it's really well done and I really love her, but I just like Frank because I feel like Frank. I want to protect him at all. Like I want to protect both of them, but I just love Frank a lot because I'm personally on his first point of view chapter of Sun and Neptune.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Maybe we should do this another Demigod Party after we finished our reread.
Someone said, I don't know if anyone was, how do you think Camp Huffman would react to quarantine? I mean, they're technically already quarantined. Stuck
Is
in-
there magical boundaries protected from pandemics?
I mean, what's
You know the
Amanda?
children of Apollo. You know the children of Apollo would have solved this already.
Oh my god, really, literally, Will Solus would already be on top of
Right.
this pandemic. Like,
Someone write that fan fiction.
I got it. I'm ready to go.
Can you wait in like 2 years when there's young adult contemporaries about quarantines and
Have
coronavirus?
you seen that on book Twitter? Everyone's like, I don't want to. I'm putting my book in like 2019, so I don't have to deal with like Corona. And I'm like, you know that you can just not reference it. Like,
Right.
it doesn't really matter. Like someone.
It's like 5 feet apart and everything like to the max now in real life.
Oh my god, remember this? Oh, let's see. Let's do this one. Blue Food. Good name. Who do you dislike more, Octavian, Gaia? I mean, technically Gaia is trying to kill the world.
Right? Like obviously Gaia is like a worse like entity, but like Octavian's like annoying and is a little
so annoying. People came at me because they're like, "You said he was bland," and I'm like, "I was making a joke." Like he's just annoying, killing like stuffed animals.
Yeah, that was one thing when I went to the House of Hades event when I was in 5th or 6th grade. He literally just put a slide of Octavian's character art, and the entire audience booed at the same time. It was amazing. He's like, he prefaced by saying, "and everyone's favorite character," and then he flipped the slide, and everyone booed. It was so funny.
I feel like everyone hates Octavian. Like he's a good character to hate to
Hate,
love
yeah,
to hate.
love to hate, yeah.
He's just like listening. The audiobook guy is so bad with his voice. It's so funny. I'll hear Octavian's voice and I'm like, that definitely does not sound how I'd hear Octavian. But you know, this guy screws up all of the other characters' voices that just don't listen to the audiobooks. But Octavian's a weird man. But you know, guy is trying to kill the world. So
And like, Guy has literally destroyed some of the lives of the Seven. So you
yeah,
know,
exactly. She kind of killed Leo's mom.
right?
Let me see. There's a person asking about the musical, and I'm like, can't talk about that, guys.
I promise. Next one, I will be up to date with at least the musical and Heroes of Olympus.
We'll get that.
And next month, I already have on my TBR the entire Magnus Chase trilogy, so we can talk about that too.
I need to reread those because I feel like I've lost a love for them. But like, I watched some of my old videos, and I was like, I really talked about Magnus Chase a lot. Did I like remember?
I know it breaks a lot of boundaries, which I love.
It's like, it's the first book. You'll get halfway through and be like, oh, okay.
Isn't there a genderqueer character in?
Gender fluid.
Gender fluid.
And then it's not just them that are gender fluid, because Loki's also gender fluid, and they're the child of Loki. So there's that. And then, I mean, technically, Magnus gets with the gender fluid character, so it's canon that Magnus is pansexual. So that's cool to have a.
J.K. Rowling could never.
No, J.K. Rowling would tweet about it later that it turns out Harry was bi.
Yeah, right. 120 character tweet that suddenly changes and makes her books representative.
Have you seen the video? There's these two guys, and this guy's reading Harry Potter, and it's someone has like a blonde wig and pretends to be J.K. Rowling, and he's like, guess which character's actually gay? And he's like, what? And she's like, all of them.
I saw this tweet. I said, at the end of the books, J.K. Rowling reveals that you, the reader, were gay all along.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Someone's asking about, do you ship Thalia and Reyna? But not really.
I've never thought of that.
But
Thalia is the huntress of Artemis. She is forbidden from.
Yeah, and it's also shown in Trials of Apollo that even if females were to get together, they wouldn't be in Hunters, but
Okay.
that's really good too. There's two females that they leave the Hunters of Artemis to be together and raise a family. It's so cute.
Oh,
That's what
I
makes
didn't know that was allowed. I thought Hunters of Artemis was like you stay here.
well, you can leave if you like. I mean, I guess you could like not leave, but you just give up your immortality.
I got it. Okay.
Um,
Imagine getting immortality and then dying 2 days after. That's what sucks the most about Bianca's character. She literally got immortality and then died.
2 days later. Oh my gosh. Yeah, someone commented, yeah, the Hunters are just ace rep. Yeah, so like asexual, like just because they're just not supposed to have any romance with anyone. So,
I think that's the whole point of the Hunters is.
which is why I would love a spinoff. I think that would be really cool.
I think I kind of would like a Hunters series over a Nico series first. I feel like there's so much more potential with a Hunter series than.
And also, so Rick came out in tweets in the Q&A. He said Hunters, Nico, and Will, and then a Celtic mythology series. And I was kind of feeling more of the just like books that don't have already established characters. Because as much as I enjoy Trials of Apollo, I just kind of want a different world. Because I really love Kane Chronicles and I really love Magnus Chase, and those ones aren't really connected to Percy Jackson. So.
Yeah.
But then again, people wouldn't read it because it's not related to Percy Jackson.
I do like how even though Magnus and the Kane Chronicles aren't connected to Percy Jackson, he still has like elements that they're in the same world, which I think is amazing. Or you can say the whole Riordanverse.
People keep saying they're trying to make it into the Percyverse or something, and I'm like, the whole
But
point of Riordanverse is not all Percy Jackson.
That's the point. That's the whole point of him having separate series.
But like, because Kane Chronicles, they have a crossover book, which I was wanting to read after Kane Chronicles, and then Magnus is related to Annabeth, so.
Yeah.
Someone said Chinese mythology. Y'all should read The Epic Crush of Jenny Lo. That's Chinese mythology. I'm just gonna try to.
And I think even Rick Riordan wouldn't want to tackle that on. He's really a proponent of letting people write their own representation stories, which is why Rick Riordan Presents, which I want to read those books as well after I finish Rick Riordan's books.
I was planning to do a readathon of that, so if you want to join in on that, I'm happy to do that because I've seen them so much out like Barnes and Noble, and I'm like, I really need to read this.
And they're also pretty. Like all the books, like all of them are like so attractive. Although I will say some of the Trials of Apollo books aren't as good. The covers. I
hate the covers of Trials of Apollo, and the sad thing is that Tyrant's Tomb is my least favorite cover, but I have a T-shirt of it on because I it. Like, think about you going to the House of Hades event. I'm sure you have a T-shirt or something.
No, they didn't do T-shirts. They were selling Camp Half-Blood shirts at that point.
But the House of Hades would have such a good T-shirt.
Yes.
Oh, speaking of House of Hades, oh my gosh, where's that comment? What was your reaction when Percy and Annabeth went into Tartarus?
I think the entire fandom had a collective like year of anxiety between Mark of Athena and House of Hades.
The sad thing is that when I read Heroes Olympus, I already knew that they fell into Tartarus.
Oh no!
So
and of course, it didn't help with his dedications at the beginning of the books. I love how he trolls his fandom.
House of Hades, that dedication still haunts me. Like opening the page and reading that, it was the gossip of middle school that everyone's like, Jordan called us out.
But I will say,
no, go right ahead.
So while rereading these, as a child, I've always said that my favorite Rick Riordan book was House of Hades. So I want to reread them to see if that still holds up because I just remember House of Hades being like, I flew through that book and I just loved every second of it.
Actually, same. I finished it in like 3 days and I got it late compared to, because in middle school, you were cool if you were a Percy Jackson fan. So like when the Percy Jackson book came out, everyone was like getting it and stuff like that. And I got it like days late. And like, I finished it before everyone else and I was like, losers. Like, but it was such a good, like, you just fell through it. It was so good.
Funny story. Mark of Athena, I got that book before it was even published because I pre-ordered it at the like Scholastic. You know how you got those
Mhm.
pamphlets, and I
Yes.
ordered it, and it came to the school, and it had a box that said, "Do not open until blank blank blank." But my
Mhm.
teacher went ahead and gave it to me, so I had Mark of Athena before it was even published, and I felt like a god. I was like, "Look at me! I have this book before anyone else." I didn't end up reading it until it was published anyway, but
Yeah.
just the fact that I
The law.
yeah, he literally broke the law by giving me.
Yeah, it's because I work at a bookstore, so
Mhm.
literally, so some books are sold strict on sale, which means
Mhm.
that when it comes out, they get the box, you can't open into it the actual release date.
Mhm.
So some books don't have to, but famous books like that, you're not supposed to do that at all.
Well, I was just wondering, like, why they shipped it out so early.
They ship it out just like so the day comes, and
I
also
would have it.
people pre-order or request it, so you
Mhm.
have to have your order. So like I'll go
Gotcha.
back when I used to have a job
When I used to
before this whole Corona thing. They'll have like stacks of the books out with the people's names and stuff like that. So um let's see. People are asking about Bob. I don't remember Bob that much, but
all I remember about Bob is crying over Bob.
I remember that. He's like, I named here's the thing. I named him something on Minecraft named after Bob, and everyone's like, "Why?" And I said, because he needs to." And then he died, and I was
Oh
like,
my gosh.
"Oh, that's not good." I was like, "Wow." Just reflecting on.
Yeah, if once I reread House of Hades, I will, in fact, sob over Bob, probably.
Um, someone's asking more about the pandemic, and I kinda don't wanna talk about the corona. But let's just do it. Who out of the 7 would be
Ooh,
panicked about the coronavirus? I feel like Frank. I feel
yeah, I could see Frank. Leo would make it a like comedic. He would be joking about it. He would be the ones making memes.
he would be the ones making the tweets and the memes.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
convinced. I'm convinced our generation would have memed through the entire Black Plague.
I mean, we're doing that now.
Right?
Oh my gosh, they meme so much of it. Someone named Leo, would the hunters be smart and cool or chaotic stupid when they're alone? They're smart and cool.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, yeah, I don't know whether, someone said Leo Valdez needs a Twitter account. Someone
Yes,
should do that.
that's Rick
Someone
Riordan's Twitter
just
account.
have Leo Valdez as a Twitter account. I think there was a thing where they had Percy Jackson characters as Twitter accounts.
Wow.
I we need to rebirth that. Leo
If
just
you if you need a Twitter account that gives off Leo Valdez vibes, follow at Camp Half-Blood. His name is Rick Riordan. He's a pretty good.
What if it turns out
It's Leo.
it turns out Leo Valdez handles Rick's tweets? Like, Rick has been making so many memes about Corona already.
Oh my! I saw you see the tweet where he's at the dog park.
And the dog and his dog is just running up to random
He
strangers.
says, "My dog is not practicing social distancing very well."
There was another tweet where he's like getting all these emails from these companies, and he's like, "Wow, it's nice for you all to know that I care." And I'm like, it's so funny. Um, someone said if Percy had chosen immortality, he would have been made the god of blue food.
I wonder actually if Percy had chosen what he would be the god of.
I don't know, but I feel like it'd be out of character for him to choose.
Yeah,
Because like people do always say like, "Oh, he chose it over Annabeth," and I'm like, not just Annabeth.
well, even if Annabeth wasn't
Everyone.
there, even if Annabeth wasn't there, I feel like he wouldn't have chosen.
Because he doesn't, because the whole arc of the series is that the gods are terrible to their kids,
Yeah.
don't give them any respect. So by using their power against them, just brings it all full circle.
That's also what I like about Heroes of Olympus, and this is thanks to Percy, is like the emphasis it puts on minor gods and goddesses. I love reading about because, of course, I feel like everyone has a basic knowledge of Greek mythology, but just learning about like Nemesis and is it Hecate? Hecate? I don't know how to pronounce that.
Hecate? I think it's Hecate.
Hecate. I don't know. Hecate. But like those minor goddesses and goddesses, those are interesting to learn about. Which is why Celtic mythology would also be an interesting series.
I just think that'd be so cool.
I like learning throughout his books because I learned a lot as a child about Greek mythology.
Same.
Like, all the Greek mythology I know are thanks to books.
I like to thank Rick for letting me sweep the mythology category in Jeopardy every night.
Yes.
Someone asked, where did someone say? Someone said, how sad would you be if Percy and Annabeth died? Oh my god.
So the blood of Olympus was actually as sad as he was.
Literally, I remember leading up to Blood of Olympus, everyone kept making memes that like Percy and Annabeth were gonna die. And like I remember making one where it was like Tangled, where like if like Annabeth was Rapunzel and was Percy, and it's just so funny to me looking back and be like, no one died. Like no one. I that's also a reason. And then okay, do you specifically remember, because everyone I talked to doesn't remember this, do you remember all the popular booktubers getting packages of like cards and each like characters, and they're like, this character survived like Blood of Olympus, and I'm like, all of them do.
All of them survived. I remember back in the day them opening packages for it.
Yeah, where's Disney Hyperion now, man?
Right.
Promote us, use us.
Yeah, use us. Give us packages.
Give us packages of free books. Get us an interview with Rick. Like Rick never does any interviews, man.
Yeah. The Last Trials of Apollo book comes out this year, right?
Yeah.
I think September?
I think. It's usually like September that his books come out around the same time.
Yeah. I'm hoping I'm able to catch up because I just remember like the feeling as a kid as like waiting for a Rick Riordan book. That was part of the experience.
Same. Like I just remember like the anticipation for it. Mm-hmm. And the sad thing is that I was one of the first people to get Tyrants 2, and I still haven't finished it. Like
I have all of the Magnus Chase, all of the Trials of Apollo's books, and I have not read either of them. I feel like such a fake fan when I say that, but I need to catch up, and I will, I promise.
Yeah.
I guess the whole, like, the reason I don't want to read Trials of Apollo as much is because, like, with Percy Jackson and Heroes of Olympus, there's such an emphasis about these gods being, like, morally gray or, like, even terrible at points, and then for him to write a 5-book series from the point of view of a god, I guess that's kind of what makes me question reading it.
So that's actually one of the hugest things of this series is Apollo developing kind of mortal things and feelings. And like, as much as I personally feel like it's my least favorite series by him, that's what I feel like is probably the best part of the series. And that's why everyone hated Trials of the first one that came out, because they were like, Apollo's selfish and stuff like that. And I'm like, that's the whole
point. That's the point of the series.
And there's a prominent thing that happens in Burning Maze that kind of brings Apollo kind of like thinking about like being mortal and stuff like that. So I feel like as much as he's my least favorite character in series, but his development and his character, like just all that stuff is really good. So
okay, I'm excited to read it. And Apollo's, he's kind of like the comedic relief of the gods, so I'm excited to read that.
Yeah,
Rick's humor is very good, so
like that's top-notch humor right there. Like Rick,
I laugh now.
It's so funny. His books are so funny.
I was reading The Titans Curse at my dad's house, and I laughed out loud, and everyone looked at me, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, and I read the line out loud, and the only person that laughed was my 10-year-old brother, and I'm like, wow, I have the humor of a 10-year-old.
Oh my gosh. I'm just trying to see if there's any Apollo's development is the most drastic of any. Okay, I agree. Even though it's like
Apollo cannon pissed his pants.
What?
It said Apollo.
It's true.
Pissed his pants.
Someone said we should make a religion praising Rick. Guys, it's the whole fandom religion. Someone said, "Can children of Apollo get sunburned?" Can Apollo himself get sunburned?
I feel like that's probably like a power they have, not getting sunburned.
They should. Wait, ooh. If you were a god, what would you be the god of?
Probably procrastination since I'm doing this instead of my homework.
I'm sorry.
Oh no. I'm not gonna do it till Sunday.
I think because the problem is that everything's taken.
Yeah.
Like, what would I be the god of? What if we're the gods of Rick Riordan? Phrase. Our religion is the Riordanverse. Ooh, what jobs do you think the Seven would have if they didn't grow up as half-bloods? Oh, that's interesting. I think
Obviously, Percy would be like a marine biologist or something.
that would be so cool. Percy is marine biology.
And then, of course, Annabeth would be an architect.
Yeah, I was also thinking she would be a good professor because, like, her father was a professor.
Or
So
like a professor of architecture. That would be cool.
I want to say Jason as a construction person. He'd love to use bricks.
Maybe Jason could develop a personality if he wasn't a half-blood.
You're so right. I feel like, oh my god, I just thought of like Frank and Hazel like running a like bakery together. I don't know why I thought
so
bakery.
cute.
It's so cute. Or like a jewelry service, you know? Like, I don't know, but that'd be cool. Leo, of course, would be an engineer. I think
Yeah.
that's either that or a stand-up comedian.
Both. He's like make stuff on a stage while telling jokes. I would pay to see that.
It's like Richie Tozier. It's like let's see. Someone said Rick should do Hindu mythology. I think someone's already doing Hindu mythology.
Yeah.
Rick Riordan presents. So
Aru Shah, Rick Riordan presents.
yes. There was one comment that someone said Frank should be a zookeeper.
Oh, he would be such a good zookeeper. Remake that Kevin James movie with Frank.
Oh my god, so true. Someone said Percy would be a social worker, and I think that's a really good thing too.
He does have social worker character traits.
Mm-hmm. Jason is a pilot. Oh my god, he would crash a plane. Plot twist, Jason is the pilot from Lost that crashed the plane. Someone said Leo would be a model. Sorry, no, you can start before.
You ever look at the old official art and like get traumatized?
Yes.
The one that traumatizes me the most is Nico's. Like I look at his character art and I like it's
a horror film.
So terrible.
And like it's crazy. Okay, here's the thing with the art. Because the whole point of the series is that all the characters aren't supposed to be that good looking, which I think is a good thing because that's relatable. But like not that ugly. Like,
right.
Not that ugly. Like Nico doesn't even look like Nico at all. Not at all.
He has kind of like a lazy eye thing in the official art too, you know?
Yeah, I don't know why. But they were like, yeah, let's just make Nico ugly.
And his mouth is like hanging and open, and it's like so weird, and like it's like a picture of like someone like uncomfortably posing, but you're painting this. Why do you can make him look
nicer? That's why I'm so glad that I think Viera, the one that does like I think they're the now official art. So because when I went to the Tyrant's Tomb thing, when he said their name, everyone like clapped because everyone's like, yeah.
Yeah, on his website, her art is now the art that's displayed.
Yeah.
Which is good. It just shows he listens to his fan base.
Like him going through all of this stuff for the adaptation, I don't know how he's doing it. Like
I hope it happens.
Like here's the thing, the sad thing is that he doesn't really care, but he just wants to do it for the fans.
Yeah.
Like, what a man. I stand one old white man. That's Rick Riordan. There is one comment that okay. What is your favorite line from your favorite character? I'm trying to think of a good Percy quote.
I know the quote that made me cry the most while we were reading Percy Jackson is Zoe's quote as Artemis is holding her. She says, "I see the stars, my lady." That oh
Oh my god. That quote is so good.
oh yeah, and the dam chapter, the Hoover Dam chapter in Titan's Curse, of course, that's amazing. Bow down to that
Literally
literary masterpiece.
literary comedy right there. Like, I think the Percy Jackson fandom will they'll hear damn and they'll be like, and everyone's
What?
I remember as a kid, like, I wouldn't write damn as in damn. I would just write damn. And that'd be the joke upon all the Percy Jackson fans.
A lot of people who read Rick Riordan thinks they have unique personalities, but we all are just
We're just all terrible comedians. One of my favorites that I discovered, and I was going to use it as a yearbook quote, but then I decided no, was that Percy says, "I can't really tell practical jokes because my whole life is one," or something like that. And I was like, that's perfect. Let me find it. It's so funny too, but it's like, I don't know, but
what's that one quote in The Last Olympian? I think Nico says it about naps. I like that one.
That one's so funny. That's the one that everyone always quotes. It's like, oh, with a great power comes a great need for a nap or something.
Yeah. That one made me laugh. I like that one. One of the most heartwarming scenes of the series while rereading Percy Jackson was at the end of the Battle of the Labyrinth when he invites Nico to his birthday party. Because he's like, I've never really been to a birthday party before, and then Percy just invites him.
Like, originally when I before I restarted reading the series, I saw why some people like those two together, but then I was like, no, it's more of a brother relationship. Because
especially since Percy gets introduced to him at when Nico is so young.
It's so good. I really love Nico now. So it's different. Someone said Percy's birthday is an underrated scene, and I oh, that's not it, is it? No. Oh wait, this is it. Percy is an underrated scene, and I totally agree.
I feel like there's a lot of scenes in Battle of the Labyrinth that I feel like are underrated.
So underrated. People keep forgetting that they kiss in Battle of the Labyrinth too, and I'm like,
oh yes. And then the whole Pan scene where Grover gets his closure as a character, that scene literally, I feel like that scene was the one that gave me the most goosebumps out of the entire series, because I was reading this and I was like, this is amazing, and I didn't remember it as a kid, rereading it, and I'm like, holy crap, this is phenomenal. And I'm like, Rick Riordan's turning us all into little environmentalists.
Some of our government should read Percy Jackson and realize how important the environment is.
Someone said when Rachel yeeted her hairbrush.
I love Rachel so much.
Rachel's underrated. Rachel is so underrated.
Oh my gosh, she's so good. I think because I think when we were all kids, we were such Prisabeth shippers.
Yeah.
That we all hated her but that's the one thing I actually didn't like about, because Rick added in that her and Percy were together or dating at some point, and that she realized that her feelings for Percy, she thought they were romantic, but really it was more of her trying to find herself, which because teenagers don't know their thing, but I just didn't like how they dated for a little bit.
Yeah.
That kind of ruined the whole boys and girls can be friends, but
it's kind of like a real aspect though of the books too. Like when we're little, we have relationships and stuff. Right. And he really was the gateway to the world she's engaged in now. So I understand it, but yeah.
She's so funny in Lost here. I don't know. Are you at the part where Piper and Annabeth go into the hair academy?
Yes,
And
it's
she's
so
just over
funny.
there, and they take it off, and she's just chilling there, like.
Yes. And they're like, "What are you doing here?" She's like, "Oh."
Someone said, "Do you guys want to see a next generation with their children?" I say no, because Cursed Child showed me that we shouldn't do that.
And isn't there like a point in the series that children of demigods sometimes can live normal lives? So
It's mostly Roman demigods. Because Roman demigods, they're more civilized and they like
yeah,
live at Camp Jupiter in like New Rome. But like that's so cute. Think about Percy would be such a good dad. I'm sorry.
maybe like a short story, but I don't think I'd.
I don't think Rick says he's not really into epilogues. So I
Yeah.
feel like that's also the reason why he's written so many after sequels
hmm
books is because he thinks that there's more to the story. Which I kind of respect, but still, that's like a lot. No, that's a spoiler. Someone said Prizzy would make
Oh,
dad jokes as a dad.
maybe that's what Rick should do. Just create a list of dad jokes Percy would say.
It'd be like all water jokes.
It's just the dad jokes Rick would say.
Someone said, "Do you all read Percy Jackson fan fictions?" I mean,
The only one I've read is Julius.
stop it! No.
You gotta hype your Wattpad account up.
I made this whole new Wattpad account just for that. Like, I was like, no.
I erased my Wattpad years from the internet. I'm like, no, I gotta erase this.
Oh God, I hate that. I hate that you had said that. I already have fan art for the Magic Pegasus one.
But like reading that, I'm like, wow, the Lost Hero is really like Prince and the Pauper. They switch roles and stuff.
Some people were like, "Why don't you do Piper and Annabeth?" And I'm like, "Well, the whole point of Lost Hero is that Percy and Jason's switch. So it's Princess and the Pauper." And like, I mean, it's, and also Princess and the Pauper is just so good, so such a good film. Godfather wish it could be Princess and the Pauper.
I haven't watched it. I haven't watched that one. I've only seen the Nutcracker and
That's the worst one.
the Swan Lake one
That's an okay one.
and 12 Dancing Princesses.
One of the best ones.
Those are the ones I watched when I was younger, and my sister was watching them.
Have you ever seen Modern Family? Because this question goes with it.
No, I've seen like I wake up late at night and it's on the TV, so like I know what it is.
Okay, because someone said that Percy and Annabeth are Phil and Claire from Modern Family. It's the blonde woman and the dark-haired guy, and it's now. Oh my God, I hear that. It's so good. Fairy Toby's the best one. No. Oh, Kiss, Mary, Kill, Nico, Jason, and Percy.
I think we know who we're killing. Jason, obviously.
I mean, Jason, obviously.
Like, no remorse whatsoever. Like, I'm sorry.
But like, also the problem with me is I can't kiss or marry Nico because like gay. So
I don't know. I just keep like when I think of Nico, I think of him as the child in the latter part of. Like for me, Nico will probably never grow up, which is sad because he does grow up, but he's just that little adorable child we meet in the Titan's Curse.
Yeah, I say Percy I'd marry because I think Percy's Percy.
Yeah, imagine being married to Percy. That would be so.
Oh, Annabeth is lucky.
Yeah, someone said kiss Nico on the head. Yeah, that's what I would do.
There we go. That's good.
Like a platonic kiss on the head.
Platonic kiss on the head. Someone said, "Ooh, an underrated friendship is Reina and Nico." I agree.
I like their friendship. I don't remember much about Reina as a character either. So that's another thing I'm excited to.
People hate me for it, and I'm like, guys, I don't remember much. But like the sad thing is though that people ship them together, even though Nico's gay, and I'm like, no, guys, that's not.
No.
But friendship, yes.
Yeah. I think another thing why I don't remember a lot of the Roman aspects is because I was still like entranced with the Greek part of.
Saying the Roman stuff is so cool.
Yeah.
Like originally I was like, yeah, I like Greek better, but now reading it, Roman is so much better because like Romans like have lives and they're so much smarter.
Yeah. I think maybe as you like mature, like kind of has civilization matured in a way, like as Greek went to Rome, like you start to like enjoy the Roman aspects of the books as well. Reina is underrated.
I agree, but
Yeah.
I don't know much. So
Yeah.
I don't
I
really
will next demigod party. I will determine whether or not she is over or underrated.
Someone said, would you rather kill Jason or the movies?
Ooh, that's the movies. Like
mean,
nothing. Like I still have some appreciation for Jason, but none for the movies.
yeah, for the movies. No. What? What is? Someone keeps on asking, what would Corona do during Corona? Nothing. It would be
he,
all
would,
color.
he would give a vague answer to telling what the demigods would do. I hate how vague he is in The Lost Hero.
He's Dumbledore.
He is Dumbledore. Yo, at least Rick Riordan won't come back and try to force a representation upon him.
Oh my god, what a man. Like J.K. Rowling wishes she could be. There was one time where Rick like kind of tried to defend J.K. Rowling, and I was like, Rick, no, he wasn't. He was. Well, there was a tweet that went viral where people were saying that Rick's a better person than J.K. And he had to come out and say like, "Don't compare us," or like say something like J.K. is a great author, and I'm like, Rick, we all know that you're a better person than J.K. Rowling.
Yeah, he probably felt compelled to say that.
Yeah. Probably takes a bath now. Someone said, would you rather go to Camp Jupiter or Camp Half-Blood?
Camp Half-Blood. Because I don't feel like I've connected as much as Camp Jupiter. But maybe rereading I will connect with Camp Jupiter.
Here's the thing with Camp Jupiter. Like I think there's more architecture, it's bigger because so many people are living there, but the thing is it's so much more violent.
Yeah, I think I'd be scared at Camp Jupiter.
And I'm even scared at Percy Jackson because like lava and stuff like that. But like people literally die at Camp Jupiter. So
where's Camp Jupiter located again?
It's like in California somewhere.
California.
Somewhere in California. I don't know which, but someone said Percy Jackson High School Musical.
You know what I figured out the other day? That TikTok song, All I Want, I figured out that's from the High School Musical TV show.
It took me so long.
I was shook. I was like, that's from a High School Musical TV show.
That show's great.
I like how random some TikTok songs are because I figured out that Princess and the Pauper song from TikTok, and I'm like, this is from a Barbie movie.
This is from a Barbie movie. The best one. Let's
the best one.
So someone said, "Wait, where is it? I found it. Where is it?" So there, Blackjack is underrated. Who's with me?
Oh, I love Blackjack. I love Blackjack. Okay, so I was listening to some of the audiobook, and Blackjack's voice in the audiobook scares me. It's like he's trying to neigh the entire time he's speaking Blackjack's lines, and I'm like, just give him a fun voice and stop it there, because when he's neighing while talking like Blackjack, it creeps me out, and I'm 18 years old.
It's a horror film. Someone should just take all the horror aspects, the official, the audiobook, and just put it. Like I like the audiobook because I like how detailed it is because I hear more of the things that are happening, but the voices are so bad.
Yeah, some of the voices are like. Ugh.
The Will and Annabeth voices scared me to death. I was like, stop. And then he tries to add an accent to Hazel, and I'm like, Stop. I mean, I do think it's because she's from New Orleans and from a different time, but still, I was like, that's not how I imagined her voice.
Do they explain in the Heroes of Olympus where, like, what the Roman gods were doing during the Titan War?
Kind of. I don't remember much. I just remember that the two camps were so divided in the Civil War thing that they never interacted. I don't remember. They do kind of explain it. I don't remember it, even though I read it.
That was another thing I remember as a kid being confused about. I was like, where was Camp Jupiter? The world was ending and they didn't do anything.
There's one that someone said Rachel needs to give a prophecy about Corona. Yeah, I'm telling you, you were so right. Our generation can just joke.
Right.
It's so bad. But no humor.
Oh, they took Mount Orthus.
Okay. Someone said, I imagine Bill Hader voicing Blackjack. Yo! That would have been so good.
I love that.
What a concept.
Yes.
It's such a good concept.
Also, I liked your comment. I don't know what video you said this in about Mark Hamill voicing Mr. D, and that's perfect. That's perfect.
Thank you. It's such a good. If it was a cartoon, it'd be such. People are like, it should be live action. I'm like, we already had a live action, and
and it didn't work out.
So someone said Danny DeVito.
Let's go. That would be perfect.
No, Danny DeVito's Coach Hedge.
Danny DeVito has to be a satyr because he's already gotten that in Hercules.
Oh my god, you're so right. Oh my god, I totally forgot about that.
The movie, he's iconic in Hercules.
Oh, he's so iconic. He's more iconic than the whole movie. Who would win, Aquaman or Percy?
Can Aquaman leave the water?
Yeah, he can.
He can? Okay. I didn't know.
Aquaman is like a 40-year-old man, and Percy is like a 16-year-old. So I feel like
I'm biased, but Percy would win.
Percy defeated gods. So like
right.
Oh, okay. Who is the best and the worst fan casting?
Every time I think about fan casting, I just think about someone literally thought Harry Styles could play Leo, and that.
Have you seen the cursed image? Have you seen the cursed image? Oh my god! Wait, let me find it. Let me find this cursed image. Oh my god! It's someone tagged and reminded me that this was a thing. Wait, I sent it to my friend. My one friend's like a huge Harry Styles fan, and I was like, please look at this. And she's like, I hate that. And I'm a Harry Styles fan. I was like, it's awful. But, here it is. And his skin is so white,
too. Someone made that. Someone decided to make that.
Someone took the time.
I can't. At first I was like, that's just a picture of Harry Styles. What's wrong about it? And then I saw the editing. And the flames coming out of it.
You know what would have been worse? If someone took Corey Mott and a transmitter shirt and got just the whitewashing is awful. It's so. Someone said, I can imagine some 13-year-old girl.
Oh, no. That's sad because that's us as 13 years old. We would see that and we were like, dang, that's good.
That's good. And also the sad thing is that his skin is so pale too.
Like, especially in that photo. He's like so pale.
So pale. Someone's Cole Sprouse. Who's Nick?
Who's Nick?
Who's Nick? Oh, Nico. Ew.
Oh,
ew.
No.
No. Wait. Oh no, that's not what I wanted. Sorry, person. We'll answer your question later. But someone casted Emma Watson as Bianca. See,
Yeah.
this is the things that we can avoid with a cartoon series.
They're Italian.
Um, um, let's do this one last question, and then we can skedaddle. I guess is who is your favorite good animal / monster character? I guess.
I guess technically he's a monster. I really like Tyson. I didn't really like care about him as a child, but now rereading the books, I'm like, Tyson is so lovable. He's like one of the most lovable. And that's another reason why I like Charles this time around, because Charles is the only person, even really before like anyone else comes around, he's okay with Tyson and he cares for Tyson, and that meant a lot to me.
Charles is such a good character, and but also I really like Tyson.
Mrs. O'Leary is good too.
Mrs. O'Leary is great, but I also really love Blackjack. So like,
Blackjack is nice, except for Blackjack's horror voice in the audiobooks.
I just always love that the first sentence of The Last Olympian is like, "I knew the end of the world was coming when Pegasus dropped on my car. Poor Paul,
Yes.
get a new car." Like,
Poor Paul. Could you imagine being Paul though, and your fiance and son start talking about how he's related to Greek gods, and then you don't even believe them, but you like play along, and then you're like, "Oh, y'all are right."
and then Poseidon walks into the birthday party.
He's like Poseidon, like the Greek god.
Yeah, like what? Okay, so if you want, we can end here.
Okay.
Thank you all for joining us. We're gonna do another one.
Yes. We're gonna do more. I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, let's do this. So much fun. Percy Jackson fans. So much fun times. Both damn jokes and stuff like that. So thank you all for watching.
Thank you. Bye.
Subscribe.
I'm making more Percy Jackson content on my channel. I have a vlog right now that's 40 minutes of raw footage, so that should be coming out soon.
I have all the links down in the description. So see you all.
Thanks for joining. Bye.
Oh, let me end the podcast.